under 13 years of age. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with another movie discussion. Well, I guess that's not once again with a movie discussion because I've never done a full-fledged Transformer movie discussion right after a Transformer movie came out. Bumblebee came out in 2018, started my channel in 2017. I didn't think I had enough clout that my opinion didn't even matter at the time. But this time, we're going to discuss Rise of the Beasts. And with me tonight is Rodimus Primal and Treebot Reviews. We've got two individuals that share the same thoughts. And you got Treebot over here who's loved the movie. He is ready to embrace anything and everything bestiality-wise. So,
Pause on that.
You never know. I'll announce this right here and right now. This will be a heavy spoiler-filled discussion because we've all seen the movie and we are going to discuss it in full. We might have some other guests come on tonight and we'll just see how it goes. But just to let you know that I did take notes and I got a list of the things I'm going to talk about with this movie. So enough of me rambling. Rodimus, you say a thing or two and then we'll shift on to Treebot and then we'll get to talking.
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie was pretty good. I think there were things that I liked, really liked about it, and there were things that I did not like about it at all. And then there were other things that I thought were like, okay, cool. I want to see where they go with this. And this is kind of the direction of the movies moving forward. And for Lorenzo, you're an idiot. That's I'm going to say that right now.
Oh man,
I'm leaving that at that. Lorenzo is an idiot.
Oh, we're live. There's no editing there. That's the producer. That's the one who keeps getting his grubby little fingers into our franchise. We got somebody trying to hop on the stream, and I think he's actually going through the space bridge right now, or he's at a rave.
Leland, is that you?
Excuse me.
We might have hopped in. We might have hijacked the wrong.
Yo, guys.
Hey.
Yo, I'm actually watching the movie right now.
What?
Yeah. This is my fourth time watching this thing.
All right, so I'm going to put you in the you liked it category.
Huh?
I'm going to put you in the I liked it category if you're watching.
Hey, listen, what I'm going to do, as soon as it's done, I'm going to call back, but I do want to kind of come in with you guys. There's a lot more to this movie. If you're from a certain type of background, it's really hitting some points that honestly I've been waiting to have happen. I mean, it really is. And so that's why I was reaching out to Rod, and thank you guys for pulling me in. But I got my grandson up in here, so I'm going to watch the movie with him.
Well, you do your thing, and we'll probably be on here for a while because, I'm looking forward to hearing your point of view, too. That's what's excited about this. And, by the way, good to see you on YouTube. I know we talked about this 2 years ago.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Disappeared.
I know. I've been working. I work with the Defense Department, so there's been a lot of stuff going on, as you know. I can
only imagine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll as soon as it's done, I'll come back on. Hey, thanks a lot, guys, for pulling me in. Love you all. Appreciate you. But great movie. 4th time seen it so far.
Wow. All right. Yesterday. All right. See you after a while. Hi, Deluxe.
Hey.
So, Emily, you've seen it twice, right?
Just once. I'm going tomorrow night. I was going to go tonight, but my wife worked long hours today, so she was kind of tired. We just went out to eat and came back, and we're going to go watch it in 3D tomorrow.
Okay, excellent. Joe's, he's went and saw it twice. Or Rodimus went and saw it twice.
I saw it twice,
I saw it once.
I'll be seeing it. I'm going to see it again.
I got to go see Spider-Verse next. My son wants to see Spider-Verse.
I got to see that too.
All right. Well, we got our 4 people in here right now. Real quick, Deluxe, what did you think about the movie before we start getting into it?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I like Bumblebee first, and then I like Rise of the Beast.
Is
in
your
07.
Maz, your microphone, is it down?
That's over
Yeah.
his head.
Yeah,
No,
like
it's
it's
right
like over here. Like if you're able to move it down so this way we can hear you, because unless your microphone is set up someplace different. Because
No, my microphone's here.
Okay, I hear him good.
okay,
Treebot got effed. I don't know where he went, but that's okay. We'll replace him with Joel.
Larkin.
Hey,
I
how's it
liked
going?
Like I said, Bumblebee first, 07 and Rise of the Beast second, tie for second, and then the rest, whatever. I gave it an 8 out of 10, a 7.5, 8 out of 10. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it enough. I'm gonna go back and see it. So yeah, it was just so good to see a Transformer movie in the theaters again. I mean,
True.
I'm excited to do that. So
I guess on the rating scale, I'm in the middle, 5 out of 10 for me.
Ooh. Ooh.
We'll get into it. Yeah, I'll give you my.
I think I'm a little higher on it, but we'll get into it.
I enjoyed it.
We'll let everybody
I
else
enjoyed
know.
it.
I'm a solid 9. I'm a solid 9 right now.
All right, let's see how we'll do this. I guess I'm going to start first. Now, when I wrote my list, unfortunately, my cons outweighed my pros, but I have valid arguments for everyone who's in here, and hopefully those in the chat who've seen the movie, that maybe you'll agree with me. And my number one con with this movie is we've seen it before. If you have seen a science fiction movie in the last 10 years, you saw Rise of the Beast. When I walked out of the theater, I thought I just watched The Avengers with Transformers, because you had the mystical object that was shown in the beginning. Then you had the mystical object that was accidentally found. Then there's the quest for the mystical object. The good guys get the mystical object. The bad guys now have the mystical object. Skybeam, and now there's
Skybeam.
Portal opens up. Here comes the villain. Then you have the CGI battle with all the gray cookie cutter cannon fodder characters that are just waves after waves. Then you get the device destroyed, the portal closes, and the enemy is sucked away. Where have we seen that before?
Avengers.
third one.
Avengers, Dark of the Moon, the first movie,
Cybertron,
Revenge of the
yeah.
Fallen,
Yeah.
Fall of
Why
Cybertron
is there
game.
so many? I don't understand why there's so many artifacts.
Yeah.
They're going to run out of artifacts to use the roads. Like, there's an artifact in every movie. It's just like, all right, okay. Where does it was too easy to find stuff, especially when it went down to Peru. It's like, oh, we just turn these little circles. Like, nobody ever thought to do that.
Yeah.
Everybody walking up was like, oh, just turn these little circles.
And in 1994, was that technology there that scanned that statue that opened it up?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I
don't think it was.
That's the stuff I'm looking at in the theaters. Like, that wasn't 94.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something in those old time, like, or I wouldn't say old time, like older movies, older place movies.
Jesus Christ.
Older place movies. Is there's always at least one piece of tech that shouldn't be there. I always find that, like in Indiana Jones specifically, and like King of the Crystal Skull, like there's stuff in there. I'm just like, why? When was this in the 50s? Like, this is not 50s tech.
Yeah,
the rocket car, for instance, with the Russians, I was like, why?
Well, we were just talking before we went live. Is the music choices in the movie, which was cool, was 90s music, but the movie took place in 94, and most of the music played was 96 and 97.
Yeah, she was singing TLC Waterfalls. I think that was 95.
I think TLC
the DMX.
Waterfalls.
That was 95.
And then
because I was in high school there.
Hypnotize was the big track that they used. And Hypnotize came out in 96. I came out in 96, and it was like, it became big, like right in, like around that time that after Tupac died and around when Biggie died, because then his album came out in 97.
Life After Death.
So it would have been on the radio if he was listening to it, number one. And you gotta wonder, like, in that end scene when he's actually playing it on the radio, you're like, is that happening in 96? Or is that You know what I mean? Like,
Took a
or is it
long
still
time to
like-
get to
I love
Peru.
it. I love the soundtrack. Brought me back. I loved it. Like I said in my overview. I wish they would have had some hard rock, heavy metal. That would have been cool to mix in together.
I
Yeah.
agree with you.
It was a good.
If it was going to be in
soundtrack.
the 90s, you needed some Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I don't know about that, but I mean, they could have threw in some stuff like that. But I did.
They were
love
aiming
the
for a
soundtrack.
demographic for New York. That's why I think
yeah, I
the
understand
music they
that.
chose.
Yeah.
It brought me back
Now-
to, they would have played some other stuff like Bone Thugs. They would have played some Onyx or something. They would have played Slam. That would have been
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
Onyx would have been
Cypress
really
Hill
cool.
and everything. And they were playing some Not It by Nature or something like that. But it was a good soundtrack. But I just wish they would have mixed in some hard rock and everything.
Now, LL Cool J using in the well, we can talk spoilers already. This is you already
Yep.
said
This is
when
a
that's
Bumblebee
already been
jumps
announced.
out of the plane after
That's
he's
in the title.
after he's come back to life. After Bumblebee's come back to life, and they use "Mama Said Knock You Out" by LL Cool J. I thought that was a
Yep.
great use of that song,
That was good use of that song too.
and
Yeah.
and it also is an older song than when the movie takes place, so it fits.
It didn't sound like LL Cool J singing though. And it didn't sound like
No,
the
it
video.
was.
Oh, I know it was.
It
but
was.
It sounded different. It just sounded different than what
It was.
the
It
video
was probably the remaster. It may have been the remaster.
digital remastered.
Yeah,
And as much
they
as
do
I
that.
don't like Bumblebee without his voice box, I thought it was an appropriate use of what's his name? Roddy Piper's "I am here
Oh,
to
here to
kick
chew
ass."
bubblegum.
Kick
And
ass.
Yeah,
I
that-
literally
Yes.
said in the movie theater, like I screamed it out loud. I was like, "And chew bubblegum." And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I did too.
His regular voice
I
box
also-
wasn't as annoying as like in prior movies. This one actually was a little bit better.
That's
Even
what I was
though-
about to say.
it
They
was.
utilized it more. There wasn't all the static as he was trying to
Yeah.
find the proper thing.
It wasn't.
just went right
It wasn't annoying.
Yeah.
Or
Like
a distraction.
he'd seen stuff enough already to have the recording saved,
And I said
uh,
that about Peter Cullen too. And in my thing, I said it sounded more young. He's up there. He's like 80-something years old around that area. To me, it sounded like Primal was younger. Like Peter Cullen, dropped another 20 years of age and everything. And I thought it sounded like he was more energized. Like he was happy to do this. Like, later on the third, the fourth, and fifth, Bayverse, I think he was just playing the character. Just playing
fourth
I think
and
it's-
fifth were the kind
Yeah.
of the ones because
But
mean
this one,
even
he just sounded better. I mean, he just sounded he sounded like he was happy doing this, like he was excited, like he was G1 again.
I think he had more emotion in this film than the others.
Mhm.
Because in the other films, he's
Well-
already an established leader, and it's just that bravado.
Yeah.
that coming out.
Bumblebee,
He
the
was an
Bumblebee
ass in this
stuff is it's a lot better here than it was in Bumblebee because as you know with the whole story he had to dub over somebody to do it, and in this they used him to get the stuff for Prime with the CGI instead of having to dub him over, which I think helped his experience a lot better with this movie than Bumblebee.
See, and I do want to clarify something because I know a lot of people have this like animosity at Travis Knight for what he did. He wanted Peter Cullen back. The problem was were they able to get him back? And by the time they were able to that Travis finally got the okay to bring to bring Peter Cullen back, they had already recorded the lines with John Bailey, and then they had to go back and they had already started the animation, so they had to keep the timing of the voice for the animation. So by that point, they had to have Peter redub it. That's why Peter Cullen didn't care for what they did with the Bumblebee movie, but they were not trying to disrespect him. And I know.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Because
I just saw it as like bad timing.
I've seen people say that, and I'm like, they weren't trying to disrespect Peter Cullen. Peter Cullen and Travis Knight were at Comic-Con,
Yeah.
And but
Yeah,
this
I
time
didn't see
around-
it as that at all. I just saw it as bad timing and things weren't communicated between them. Like, is he coming back or is he not coming back?
But this time around,
anybody wants to disrespect Peter Cullen, especially they know he's Transformers.
Yeah,
you don't disrespect Peter Cullen. You don't disrespect Frank Welker. That's who you don't. I mean, those are the two ones.
I also think like this time around, the only thing I had an issue with was some of the lines that Optimus said.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like,
a little out of character.
People have had the problems with that, and I that was one thing I was going to address. With this interpretation of Optimus, I really enjoyed because you felt that he was very upset about losing Cybertron and not being able to get the Autobots back, and how much emotion he showed that he blamed himself. You know,
that I was fine with.
Yeah,
that I was fine with.
Then
certain lines where I'm like, I'm going to take your head off. Like,
yeah. I'm gonna kill Scourge. I was like, I'm surprised they didn't say destroy Scourge.
I like that.
That would have worked better.
Yeah, but this is still young Optimus before he's getting that leadership. He's more,
I like it.
And
he's
he had
revenge-driven.
less compassion at the beginning of the movie.
And he was
except for his.
He was an asshole to the humans, man. He's like,
yeah, he was.
Screw all you guys. I don't care about y'all. I want to go home. Screw all you guys. I'm taking my ball and going home.
This isn't my
Primal seemed more Prime-like, to be
Primal
honest.
was badass.
Yeah.
I love the Maximals. I wanted more from Cheetor.
I wanted more.
Yeah,
we didn't get enough of those.
We were
my issue with Cheetor. That's just one of my issues with the film here. Cheetor seemed more like Tigatron at the end of the day, instead of in character for Cheetor. That's one thing I didn't like.
Dialogue.
Rhinox and Cheetor didn't have enough lines for us to get to know them. That's
the only line
biggest
I remember Cheetor saying was when he got off Mirage, going, "I'm sorry, brother," or something like that.
And he also yelled Noah, and he threw the spear.
Yeah,
that's right.
He got, but I want that Voyager Primal so much more now. When I got
out
of the movie, Primal is badass, dude. And
I want that leader class that Takar is releasing.
That 3-0 Primal that's coming out looks so freaking awesome, dude. When he said maximize, I got chills, dude.
I did too.
When I thought Ron did a good job. I really did.
Yeah.
I wanted Gary. I want Chalk. Gary Chalk. I want all of them to come back. But I don't think Ron Perlman did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I was impressed because I was one of those ones like, why him? But then actually hearing it, they added something to it because it was just.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they added something to all of them.
Commanding.
I mean, you hear Pete's voice. That's Pete's voice with a lot of stuff over it.
Air Ranger actually surprised me too.
There's
her character.
Only one.
Her character too.
Real quick before we get into Pete Davidson. And we were talking about lines that didn't fit. The one that just really put me out was when Unicron had Scourge right there, and he goes, "I'm so hungry, it's killing me." I'm like, "Oh, that's stupid. That's what a teenager says." Well,
It was a weird line.
Yeah.
My hunger line, I forget what it was because my hunger is killing me. I was like,
also, there was some dialogue in the movie that was in the earlier draft, the earlier cut of the movie, because apparently they had a complete an assembly cut that was just before they added all the special effects that they had test audiences back last year.
Yeah, it's supposed to be out last year, wasn't it?
It was last year. Yeah. Apparently, somebody actually watched it and they were posting about it, and they were saying that there was a lot of scenes and sequences that are different than the final version of the movie, but they're still in the movie, and so some of that like continuity disconnect is from the changes they made to the draft, because apparently Stephen Caple Jr. himself went and changed some of the dialogue, changed some of the lines for the movie so that he would have a coherent film. And that was one of the things that apparently is there. Like when Airazor says we're from your past and your future, and you're like, okay, what is that? What is that? Like, can you explain that? Is there more to that? You guys are exploring. It seems that there was a missing scene in that whole explanation that was cut either for time or for something else. And Michelle Yeoh, she did an amazing job as the.
She was awesome.
Yeah,
she was awesome. I just wish we could have saw her transform.
We would have seen her in robot mode.
Yeah, I would have seen her in robot.
And going back to that past and future thing. Remember when Primal told Prime, "I took my name after you, a great Autobot leader." Prime wasn't a great Autobot leader at that point.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really like they're taking from the original Beast Wars history.
TJ Omega had stated in his non-spoiler video that they had probably traveled to the past and then came to the future and then back to they're kind of in a cycle. They were kind of in a cycle. But now that this movie's happened, it's broke the cycle. I don't understand. I still don't get where it's going. but I'm starting to see that a little bit with some of the dialogue, like you guys said.
I think it's just a reference to the original Beast Wars. How they're actually from the future, and then they transwarp to the past, and
that's why they use the Transwarp Key.
Yeah, because the key opened up other dimensions or other realities,
other time. Basically, you can travel to someplace else in space and in time. And Unicron wanted to eat Earth in '94.
I mean, I just had very low expectations for the movie.
Yeah,
but it actually, I enjoyed it. I mean,
mine were absurdly high, believe it or not. And they delivered on most of it that I wanted to see.
All right. Well, let's get into the Pete Davidson now. And I'm going to start off this with one of my other complaints with the movie is why did they bring in this multiple mode transformation thing? Like Pete Davidson's, hey, take me as a Porsche. Then he turned into a Lambo. And then he turns into a garbage truck.
Yeah,
I hated that.
Yeah.
Even more so, he turned into the Formula One, and then
that was cool. That was so cool. Now, the only way I could explain the garbage truck without thinking about mass shifting is
that's what I was
hologram, like cheating with the hologram, and that's about it. I didn't want to think about it too much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, honestly, I don't really like. It seems like a lot of Hollywood movies use that type of change, like when Iron Man gets into his costume now, just magically appear. It just, to me, just seems more on a more magical side than a technological side, and that's my only bother with being able to do all that. Especially like even when he got the parts of Mirage and then went all over. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like it just.
That's my number 4, the Mirage suit.
Yeah, the only thing that
mythical.
The Mirage suit made me a little bit sad, but I still thought it was kind of cool because people were thinking that like, oh, it's like Spike and Daniel. Well, for me, it looks like Kicker from Energon, and I thought that was just really cool to see something resembling Kicker in a live action movie.
You know what it more reminded me of instead of Kicker? It reminded me of Master Force.
Yeah. We talked about that in the last live we did with those figures of the Master Force characters that didn't transform. That's kind of what it reminded me of with the visor and everything.
The Pretenders you're talking about,
or not the Pretenders, the Power Masters and the Power Masters in Master
engines?
Force. Yeah, if you look at them in Master Force, how they look with Jinrai in the anime, Jinrai has a suit that has the helmet on, and then he's got a visor over his normal face, and that's what it really reminded me of.
And it kind of reminded me of that and the Pretender shells, the human Pretender shells, in a way.
So
I just don't like how it just seems to magically appear, and I'm just never a fan of that kind of.
I don't understand.
Well, not only did it magically appear, somehow it also had Mirage's spark inside, so he was able to rebuild Mirage using the suit later on.
Yeah. So basically, wearing
now that I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, because that reminds me of the time when Prime had his consciousness put onto the data drive,
floppy disk,
and the floppy disk. That was what made
80s. Do not speak ill of the
80s. but the whole process, it just seems too easy. Like I would imagine a lot more effort in integrating, fixing Mirage. You know what I mean? It just seems like,
and it makes it seem like the deaths don't matter.
Except for Airazor. Airazor is the one who died and didn't get revived.
Yeah.
They kill her off.
Which brings me to this real quick. Talking about death. Bumblebee was killed. Scourge killed Bumblebee. Now I'm sitting there with Dylan. Dylan loves Bumblebee. And Dylan, the exact words from my son, oh no, they killed Bumblebee. And then there was this pause and he goes, well, wait, we haven't seen the scene where he's jumping out of the airplane yet.
Yeah. He spoiled it.
That's I love the trailers. The trailers gave away too much stuff.
Yes,
for this movie.
They did.
I think they should have hit Unicron. If they would have hit Unicron and then we saw Unicron at the beginning, oh shit would have I would have lost it. I would have like, oh my god.
The first
I thought
trailer, they should have
Unicron looked
stuck
really
with
good.
what was in the first trailer.
Yeah, they
or
should
the
they just showed
teaser,
too
and
many
then maybe
trailers.
expanded a little
They
bit more
showed-
off the
They
first
showed
trailer.
way too many trailers.
Now,
Jason, they didn't want
one thing
to
I was
subject
gonna
your
say-
son to the same trauma that we did in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of trailer, there was a lot of scenes not in the movie that were from the trailer. Like
Yeah.
when Dominique
I
Fishback
tried
goes,
to not watch the trailers. I
she
watched
was
a
like,
couple of
"It's
them,
not real.
and-
It's not real." And then RC
Oh,
goes
yeah,
like this.
RC, yeah, that was not in there.
Yeah.
I remember that
And
one.
then
But I stopped watching.
yeah.
There was like 15 trailers. I didn't watch. I was like,
Yeah.
there's way too many trailers.
Well,
for this
there's
thing.
one trailer out there, Deluxe, that shows Battletrap's death. Like just straight up just showed it.
See, that's
and I was like-
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I saw it in a thumbnail. I saw his arm cut off by Prime, and I was like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah,
Like, and that was it. I didn't watch any more. Now,
That's
what I
all.
was going to say, yesterday, before I went to the movie, I finished reviewing just an assortment of Rise of the Beast figures, and I had little title cards for each figure I did, and each one, like I had the Bumblebee, like from the trailer, and I did Bumblebee, Battletrap, Nightbird, Cheetor, and Scourge. Well, for Scourge, since most of his scenes in the trailer are so spoilery, I didn't use a Scourge clip. I used a clip of Peter Dinklage from Elf running at Will Ferrell, and I put the trailer music behind it, and I think it worked so well.
I saw it posted earlier, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I really thought all the voice actors did pretty good. Even
Oh,
Pete
they did
Davidson.
amazing.
I know
Oh,
Pete
yeah.
Davidson was kind of obnoxious, and I think he forced the comedy too much. But at least it wasn't the poop fart jokes and everything from Michael Bay. It was I laughed a couple times, but I think they were forcing it too much. But I think he did pretty good as Mirage. I think everybody did a great job on the Maximals were good, and I thought the Autobots, were good. I thought the voice acting was pretty decent. To be
What was
honest,
cool about
Unicron was cool too, pretty well.
What was cool about Mirage is, he was just started off as overly obnoxious, and the more I got to think about it is he's trying to relate to the human. But as the movie progressed, he began to tone it back a little bit. It's like
definitely.
he was growing.
And
So
then, like,
he didn't do as bad as I thought he was going to do.
You know
I liked
something though?
his.
I was going to say this
Go
about
ahead.
his alt mode changes and stuff. I think, like we were saying before, his Mirage ability is probably how he's changing his car modes, because he's not actually physically he transforms into his Porsche, but uses his hologram to turn him into a Lambo or F1. Because I'm of the opinion that I never really cared for the idea of you can just change transformation at will. Like, they're robots, so they do need to modify their
They have to
bodies.
alter their stuff. To change it to something else.
Yeah,
because
because
their robot.
because
mode
back,
just
I
to
mean,
do that.
I know G1 Earth, but think about it. The whole idea is that they were remolded and refitted to no longer transform into Cybertronian vehicles. They were now turned into Earth vehicles and objects.
And
everything.
bear in
You can't
mind
take a
that
truck.
that itself has limits in G1.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
they have when the Sky Spy goes out,
Yeah,
it did not just look for, we're going to find things, that are able to disguise you. And though they looked for every individual on the arc and scanned vehicles that fit them specifically.
yeah.
Mhm.
And if you
And
I
like
sent
them
you the issue,
proportion-wise.
the copy of Marvel issue 1.
Yeah.
It was scanning all the objects as it was going along, and it completely blocked it did not realize that humans were a disguise. It only disguised the because it thought that the cars
The
were
cars were the people. Yeah.
Mechanical lead.
They thought they
Yeah.
were the people.
So
And that's how Animated was too. The Animated did the same thing. They said we need to scan the locals and disguise ourselves like the locals to fit in. And they
Right.
thought,
cars and trucks are
Yeah.
the locals. And then when they realize, oh wait, they're not, and then Prowl calls for the retreat at the end of issue 1. So
But I think what you were talking about earlier, Mirage had to use the Mirage to turn into a dump truck because it's a bigger, vehicle. than
yeah,
what,
right.
original
There's
car
no.
was. He'd have to change he'd have to change his
Yeah,
whole body.
He'd have to.
Mhm.
Yeah, he'd have to
to
have a new body. It'd be like
to accommodate.
It'd be exactly like Scattershot, Hotshot, and Red Alert and Cybertron. They got new bodies and they needed bigger vehicles. They
Mhm.
couldn't use their old vehicles because their bodies were too big, and it's the other way
Now, I'll
around.
accept that answer and I will mark that off my cons. It's been explained.
Okay. Hologram.
Yes. Now, if only I could do that with a Bayverse for you guys.
Oh, I haven't even got to that yet.
All I can say is just read this. Read it.
Was the voice for
I've read it.
Unicron, was that the guy that was in Fear of the Walking Dead? Is that the guy
Yes.
in Unicron?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he did a good job. I loved the way Unicron looked. Man, when I first saw him, when he was in planet mode,
Yeah.
the other Earth, or the Maximus planet, man, that looks so freaking awesome.
Oh,
Unicron looked really good.
Yeah.
So I like what they did with Unicron.
I said this to Jay earlier in the stream. I don't know if you heard, Deluxe, but when they used Unicron's theme as he came in, it was subtle, and they changed it to sound a little bit more kind of
modern.
It didn't have a I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they did have that. Well, they used the 07. I liked when they used the 07, like when they were coming in from to Earth.
Yeah, Arrival to Earth.
The Arrival to Earth.
We were talking about that too.
In the movie too, as well. At the end, and I thought I was listening to it. I was like, that sounds pretty good. I like that with the way they were using it and everything. So,
all right, this is going to go into. I'm going back to one of my cons so we can discuss, so we can kind of keep it flowing because we derail. But Larkin was talking earlier about the magic objects, and one of the things I didn't understand is they got the key or whatever. So this is the key, and then they take it to the volcano or whatever. And all of a sudden they put this key down, and then the whole landscape magically transforms into freaking Mordor.
Yeah,
or that
irritated me a little bit. I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah, so now we got Mordor. Yeah. And then when they get there, Mirage just happens to know, take this vent. This vent will lead right to the control center. How the hell do you know that?
Here's my theory. And I got a theory on it.
I've got one
too. The Maximal ship transformed.
Yeah, I was thinking, because if you look on their planet, that structure that's above, like at the top where Unicron was coming in, it's on their planet too.
Right. I knew
it
that.
is also there. Yeah.
It's a tower.
That's why that they rebuilt it there. And that's what they used to bring. That's like their transwarp.
But how would Mirage know that? Like the Maximals would know that.
Now,
right?
Here's my next theory. Here's the next part of it.
Optimus Primal gave them the 3D map.
Or
there's
one of those on Cybertron. Like, because remember that thing in G1 at the dome where they always come in a shockwave.
That's called a space bridge, young.
The space bridge, like the space bridge terminal. Thank you. Was at a loss for words for a second. But every time they come in and like punch shockwave or whatever, that room. When they come in, it's on the top. There's a thing on top, like the weird tube where the space bridge comes in, and it's got. Oh my god! There's a tube, and there's a structure above the tube that reminds me a lot of the way that looked in the movie. And I figured if there's a transwarp thing, I don't remember what it was, a transwarp key, but I can't remember what else they called it. But if they know about that, if Prime knows about that, surely there's one on Cybertron too. So that would be one reason that Mirage would know about that.
I'm gonna go with Primal. Give a map, and I probably went to the bathroom that time. So
yeah, that makes more sense than what I just said.
He went like this or whatever, and he showed off that 3D map or whatever. And I was like, that's Hound's ability. In fact, speaking of which,
you drank too much, man.
Quick tangent.
Hey, I went to the bathroom and I missed Wheeljack's introduction. And when I showed up, I was like, well, who's that, Dylan? He said, that's Wheeljack. He sucks.
I'm not the only one who had to go to the bathroom.
I didn't think he was that bad.
He wasn't as bad.
I ordered these drinks when I go to the theater.
But he could have been named something else.
That's what I was saying. If he would have been
that's
named
what everyone
else,
says.
Nobody would have even cared. If he would have been a different person, because
a different bot.
You got Wheeljack, from the Bumblebee movie, looked great, as Wheeljack. But then where did this guy come from? Like what I really compared to him was maybe like a Beast Machine's Primal. He had the hippie thing going on, kind of going on with that when he introduced himself and everything. But once again, another throwaway character because we didn't really get to know him. And same with Stratosphere.
His lines were
What was
cut.
Stratosphere there?
He's
for?
just
His lines
there
were
for
cut.
he was there for navigation with
I know, but
with,
it's
with
like
his lines being cut.
He
And
reminded me
he
of
was
Jetfire.
so
He reminded me of
Bayverse.
He reminded me of Jetfire, except he didn't fart. He came in, he
just coughed out an
tumbled
engine.
and everything. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
so. He at least he didn't fart. The poop jokes and everything, and somebody didn't start humping Megan Fox.
They threw up the landing gear.
That's weird. I predicted. I don't know how I did it. I predicted with him being voiced by John DiMaggio that he would sound like the Scotsman from Samurai Jack, and he did. I don't know how that was the most random thing I've predicted in this movie, but somehow I managed it.
And the thing that got me is the Transformers, they all arrived at the end of the Bumblebee movie, which was what, 87?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So then you got Stratosphere, who's dressed like a 1940s pilot. Or he
It
looks
might
like a
come with the
19
vehicle mode. It might also
Yeah.
have came with the vehicle mode.
But yeah, that Bay former influence was still there. I mean, you got him. He's got the big bushy mustache and all that. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
I don't like that.
Robots.
Yeah, I don't like the facial hair. On
I
Robot
thought he
too.
was cool. I thought he was cool. Well,
That was a cool plane. I've never seen a plane
you're
like
out of
that.
line with that one. Alpha Trion has a long beard. You can't pull that one on me.
Okay, but it looks metallic. It doesn't look bushy. This was a Mythbusters Jamie Heineman mustache on your guy.
Who's to say I didn't like Alpha Trion's beard? I don't have a beard.
He's just
I don't even have
arguing his
hair.
point because he loved the movie.
No, I just objectively liked how Stratosphere looks because I thought the Bayverse design for Stratosphere was stupid. I did not care for. I love the figure. I just still thought that the design was stupid.
Mm. I like this Stratosphere character.
Yeah, I
like,
think
when he came
this
in,
is a
like,
lot
he was-
better.
And the thing is that I would have been fine with Pablo had he not been called Wheeljack.
I think
You know what I
everybody
mean?
would have been.
I would have been
Everybody would've
perfectly
Pablo
fine
worked.
with him. If they would have called him Fix It, Gearbox, something.
Something.
Just name him
If they were to call
something.
him Pablo, I'd be okay with that.
The only reason he was in the movie for that cool scene where he flips around where the missile goes through him,
Yeah.
which leads
That was
into the
great.
awesome
That was
action
great.
movie.
He also had an introduction scene, and in his introduction scene, he actually uses his glasses to like zoom in and say, "Oh, here is where the map thing is, and where to go in with certain things." So he does use his glasses
Oh,
for
so
that.
he used his glasses to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
I mean,
that's reasonable.
He wasn't a bad character. It's just I
Nerd.
guess it's
With the
we know
suspenders
about
and everything.
Wheeljack from Bumblebee, and then you kind of expect some
The
continuity.
only thing I'm gonna say about the Wheeljack from Bumblebee is I'm not too bothered by it since the Cybertron scene was kind of a last minute thing. But that's the only reason I'm not bothered by it that much. And that could have just been a retcon for all I care. But Patriot Prime is Scourge on your list? Are the Terracons on your list? Because if not, I want to talk about them.
They
I enjoy the
are,
Terracons.
but the Terracons are in my pro section.
Okay,
Yeah,
well wait.
they were
I'll
good.
wait then. I'll wait then because I have a lot to say about them.
Okay.
I
So
did
we-
not like the fact that,
We
go ahead.
I say we went over Maximal's needed character development. We'll all agree with that.
Yep.
The human story, as usual, I thought it spent way too much time on humans. It could have got rid of some of it. Now, I've heard other people mention this. When we are introduced to Noah, we find out that he's a soldier, or he was a soldier,
Mm-hmm.
and he did something.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for service. So he did something. Remember at the job interview, we don't hire your kind. Oh, what do you mean my kind? And then he got into, well, you were a soldier and you left something. They didn't explain it. And he's like, well, I did something for family or whatever. That was totally dropped. And I think that would have been interesting in his redeeming arc because
there was something there that was
because
We're gonna learn about it in the G.I. Joe movie.
well, that's where I was going to lead to that too. Is he did something that may have been cut out. He could have left his troops behind. He could have went AWOL.
Yeah.
And so if that maybe would have been explored a couple more lines, a couple scenes during the end of the movie where he's trapped under Mirage, he's ready to give up, and he gets a little speech
talk.
for his brother,
Yeah.
but as a redemption that I am not a quitter, I am not a fighter, and then he redeems himself from whatever happened with his military background.
Yeah,
Which
that was a missed
also-
opportunity.
Which
Yeah.
also leads into the G.I. Joe thing that we'll mention later on, that he was approached. So they knew he was in the military. So I just wish something was more with that. Then on the family aspect, you were introduced to his brother that has some kind of disease that
Sickle
I
cell.
guess
anemia.
Sickle cell.
Yeah,
Sickle cell. Okay.
I had a friend die from sickle cell. He was, it was a closer friend of mine that when I moved from one area to another, he was the only kid that would welcome me in that area, and learned that he had sickle cell. But like he and I used to play video games all the time or whatever, and then like I saw him literally, I want to say months before he died, and because he hit the sickle cell, just like it's harsh on people,
Mhm.
and so and I really feel for anybody that has sickle cell. So he was a good guy. And but yeah, like go ahead. Anyway, you were continuing on with the point, and I'm sorry
I just
that
think with the whole brother aspect, I feel it was shown, and it shown that they had a good bond, but maybe they could have.
Oh,
He froze.
You might be dying in about 2 seconds. Everyone brace yourselves.
His internet went out.
Everyone brace yourselves.
That hamster died. There he is.
So they introduced her, and she was okay, but she was just like I don't know, like you play a Nathan Drake game on PlayStation. She's just there to, well, I know what this is. I know how to activate this.
Yeah.
Jason, you know what she felt like?
What's that?
Well, she felt like the lady in Last Night, and I didn't like it. That's one of the things I didn't like, and that's about the movie.
thought they
She
did a
felt
good
very
job.
she felt very tertiary. She did a great
Oh
performance.
yeah, she did a good job
Just
with a good character.
the character just felt very tertiary.
Yeah, I thought they worked well together. I think that there wasn't a whole lot of time for them to do anything, but I don't care anymore. I don't care about the humans. It's a Transformer movie. I don't, they're spending like I said, they spent too much time with them, and we could have got some more characters, with the Maximals. We could have got some more stuff with Cheetor, Rhinox, and everything. And it's just, I'm so sick of the humans. I don't care anymore about the humans.
At least we didn't get a forced love story. They just worked together, and that was it. And they went their separate ways at the
They
end.
didn't do a bad job. I thought Noah was a good character. I thought both of them were good characters. They worked well together. They meshed well with what they were given. But I just don't care anymore. I really don't. I'm just tired of the humans being in.
Now, I was speaking of humans. I'm very glad they addressed Charlie for a second.
Yes,
that was one thing I
that was
really
cool.
liked.
I thought that was. I heard the rumor that there was going to be. She was going to be.
They were talking about trying to get her in. Yeah,
was it? Okay.
And
so
they did mention her. They said that. Well, I know one was kind to you, B.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Like,
so,
you can't handle the truth.
I like Charlie. I thought Charlie was a good character too in Bumblebee.
Yeah, but she was a teenager. She's over in San Francisco. They moved to New York.
But I think that she's going to come back. I think that they said that they're not moving forward with the Marvel stuff as quickly as possible. So she may come back with the Bumblebee too if they do another one there.
So,
that's pretty cool.
Haven't got a super chat in ages.
I know.
Thank
Totally
you,
agree.
Preston. Now,
Totally agree.
Now we get to bring in Bert.
I get to see Bert in about a month.
I know.
I'll see Bert in about a month.
Oh dear Jesus!
I'm glad I didn't know you
thanks
guys
for taking
yet.
your time.
I'm glad I didn't know you guys yet at that point.
All right, my final complaint, and we can actually lead into the Terracons with this, is I am so sick of these movies just having nothing to do with Decepticons. The Decepticons have been a big part of the Transformer franchise since the beginning. We've never got a decent Megatron. We got the Terracons were great. I thought Scourge was an awesome villain, but I want Decepticons. I mean,
they'll be next. They'll be in the next one.
It seems like you can't have Megatron without Optimus Prime, but by God, these live action movies, Megatron's probably had 15 minutes of screen time throughout all 7 movies.
So
Cable Jr. said he wants to bring Megatron back.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how are they going to introduce the Decepticons? When
That's
they
the
weren't
problem.
Well, it's gonna be there's
where
gonna
they at in
be
the first
an
one?
attempt to
What?
get back to Cybertron or something like that. I feel that's the way they'll
Or the
bring 'em back.
Decepticons went after him, because in Bumblebee, Blitzwing was already there. And then you got Shatter and Dropkick went out. So who's to say a bunch of other Decepticons just didn't shoot out? They escaped to go get them.
And they created the internet, so to speak, right? Like they made a world wide web, which was not really correct, because I think the internet has been around since the 70s, as far as I'm concerned. But
Al Gore.
What's that?
Al Gore. He invented it.
Oh yeah, Al Gore.
Everyone's gonna take him super serial.
I'm going to jump on this one real quick.
I don't know how they're going to introduce,
Not in this timeline, because they're already.
God.
Hold on.
Okay.
Because, because Datacon, he came in. He actually just text messaged me before, and he goes, he thinks that this is still within the Bayverse, and because it has to be a prequel, and I'm like, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It does not work. Do I have to go into it one more time?
The last night, you have to discard the last night, and you can't discard the last night unless you got to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like we need a clean break.
I thought the last ending when they said the G.I. Joe thing, I really thought that was Sector 7. I really thought he was talking about
I did.
Same here.
So did
I thought it was Sector 7.
When G.I. Joe, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I got a half chub.
I got excited.
I got a half chub. Whenever they showed G.I. Joe, I was like, okay.
Yes.
I was the same way. In the theater, I was like,
I'm excited. Yeah, I did clap too. I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
That's something new.
No, me and my friends were all just like,
yeah,
like that's all we had. Like,
make that O face again, because I got to give Star Wars Squawk Box a big shout out for the super chat. Thank you so much. We'll find something good to entertain you with. Let's see. We're talking about Bumblebee. Let's show one of our favorites.
Ravage eject.
yeah, that reminded me. I had to tell you about this. So, the people who've invented that thing, just had it made an honorary Autobot with Rise of the Beast.
Hey, let me say something. Jason Wade made a good point. Multiverse. What if that's how they bring in the Decepticons? They're a multiverse, so they're gonna go there. They can't use that thing anymore because they destroyed it. But I'm just saying, if they use the multiverse kind of thing, I guess they could bring in whoever they want to. Really, to be honest, maybe.
Yeah, but we still have Decepticons in this universe. They're just
They're just scattered.
They've conquered Cybertron.
Yeah. But I mean, they still could use the multiverse like they're doing in Marvel.
Maybe they're all on the moon still.
Could be. No.
Which brings up another thing. I missed this. Is why with these Bayverse inspired movies do they go into hiding, turn into a vehicle mode, and just go into storage somewhere?
I don't know. They could just jack up everybody. They should destroy Earth.
You think they'd be working together? They would have a base somewhere. No, everybody transform and just hide, and then we'll call you when we need you.
Well, it feels like that place they met up at was kind of their area they converse. I don't feel like that was. I feel like they definitely have been there before. It kind of reminded me of the place in Animated, because the place in Animated looked a lot like that.
It was their base. Yeah, it was definitely their New York base.
Well, I was kind of referring to, I think, when they were stealing Mirage, didn't he say he's been there a couple of months?
Oh, yeah, that he was
a couple weeks
for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Like just sitting in a garage somewhere, and then like everybody wonders what he's doing there. Why was he there? What was he?
Mirage. He was probably just being lazy.
Yeah.
Or avoiding Optimus. Or just avoiding Optimus, because like you can tell at the beginning of the movie, Optimus kind of annoys him.
He was keeping up with Marky Mark. I thought that was a cool throwback.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. I heard he's going to go into acting, and then we're like, oh, okay, all right. So we're breaking either it's in the same universe or it's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. Well, let's talk positives. And the number one positive that I liked about the movie is I thought the action scenes were phenomenal, especially the museum fight. And it's not Bayverse stuff. It's not you just seeing metal crunching like this. You saw what was going on. And
they've gotten a lot better. Really they've gotten a lot better since 07 when Barricade and Bumblebee were fighting. You couldn't tell who it was.
No.
You couldn't tell it was.
I love I love those movies. I watched the Barricade Bumblebee fight the other day, and it gave me a headache.
Yeah,
It's not a fight. They tumbled
Yeah.
into each other
No,
and they disappeared off screen.
Like that's the problem I had there. That was not the focal point of that scene. It was the frenzy attack.
Yeah,
I love
and
what I loved really with the 07 when the Barricade transformed in midair, and then Battle Chat did the same thing, and I think Nightbird did as well when they were I love that. I think that gets me all excited when they transform in midair, and that's awesome. Now the transformations,
those two need a little bit more.
The transformations sometimes were too long. Prime, they showed him like the first couple times he transformed, he could have got blasted and killed as long as it took him to transform. It's like, come on, dude. But then sometimes you transform real fast and everything. But I understand why they do it because it is cool looking, but it's just, he could get killed.
The visuals.
So
I made a weird theory about why they do that sometimes, because there are times in a lot of the media where they transform at different speeds. And I was thinking that maybe it takes more energy and exertion. It might be a little bit painful to go faster to transform. That was the best way I could just kind of think about it.
I don't think it's painful. I don't think it's painful.
I just think it's the visual.
The
movies just want to give you that visual.
Eye candy. Eye candy.
Yeah, like a
it's
eye
awful
candy.
to watch, but it's just like after the third or fourth time, you're like, oh, yeah, we understand. We know. We understand.
Yeah, like when he transforms for the first time, I think it's cool. But like the subsequent times, it should be quick.
Yeah, and I like the introduction. Bumblebee, they showed him do it. Then Mirage. Now RC transformed real quick. I like how she did it. She just flipped around.
Yeah,
It was like very gymnastics.
I like RC too as well. I mean, I thought she gave off like maybe a second command kind of feel. With her. Like she was the the mother figure and everything, but she was pretty badass. Like
she's keeping those boys in check.
Oh yeah.
If you were to talk about each of them had a special ability. So I mean, Optimus is Prime, but we know that.
Yeah.
But Pablo with his glasses. RC could also scan with her like visor or whatever, and that's how she was able to scan Noah Diaz and his history. Mirage with his Mirage abilities, and then of course Stratosphere is obviously the transport bot. So each of them had a unique ability, and I thought that was well done. And I think the only thing that I want to make a segue to this, and it's just a quick segue. I actually, with my daughter tonight, watched the episode Prime Target, the G1 episode, and they used a hologram to capture tracks, which that's one of my negative.
That's
one of
an
my
all-timer for me.
Why didn't they use Trax and Raul in this movie? Because they're in New York, and use Blaster. Blaster would have been awesome in the 90s. Come on now, Blaster. Anyway.
But would he have been the tape deck? Would you want him
he's been on the big ghetto blasters.
You should still be a ghetto blaster that can transform full size. Who cares? Anyway,
they mass shift anyway in these movies. Like
they do mass shift in these movies.
They do mass shift
after being carried and everything, and I think he would be a liability, to be honest, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Come on, it's Blaster.
He kind of is a G1 too, but
anyway, but in that episode, they used a hologram to capture, tracks. And there was a hologram of Blitzwing and Astro Train, and my daughter literally turns around and goes, "They used a hologram? Wait, that's Hound's ability."
Right? Wait,
you're throwing her up right.
I swear.
Hear me out.
I swear that they both do it.
But no. Well, no, they both. That's not my point. I'm not talking about Mirage and Hound. Like that's not.
Okay.
My point about this is that if every Transformer has a unique and special ability, it is one of the things that you connect to that character.
Oh yeah.
Mirage in the movie complained about his paint job. That's a Sunstreaker thing. That's an immediate thought that went through my mind. Dominique Fishback's character says Scourge has the key. The first thing that went to my mind, what is the
plasma
episode?
Energy chamber.
The plasma
Rebirth
key to the plasma energy
1.
chamber. First thing that came to my mind. Because when you have things like that a special ability or a unique line or Easter eggs like that, longtime fans like myself or younger fans like my daughter are gonna pick up on those things. and they're always going to be attached to that with that character.
Mhm.
So, and that is something I thought I appreciated that they did use special abilities out of all the characters. So that's one of my positives.
Yeah.
So
Bumblebee's special ability was to sell toys.
Exactly. To get
Yeah.
Larkin millions of subscribers. Fishy, thank you so much. Let's see. He's talking about Unicron, so let's destroy the universe.
80s
That's-
Toys has an eBay page.
That's why we keep hearing the eBay ding.
Yeah.
We were off earlier. We were talking with Matt, and
Whoops.
there it goes. What happened?
I leaned back and there wasn't nothing there.
Live.
Wow.
Look.
Yeah, and going back to character development and special abilities, I thought Scourge was a terrifying villain.
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
He
he was a good villain, a very good villain.
Yep.
I saw some
He was what
reviews say,
Megatron
oh,
should have
he's-
been throughout the whole Bayverse.
What's that?
He was what Megatron should have been through the whole Bayverse.
Exactly. And he's just I
Scourge
love
was a really good.
You know, I found something weird about that. This was an interesting thing I noticed. Dark Energon, I think, in this universe is orange.
yeah, because he had that pulsing in
Yeah.
his chest.
Yeah, he said he was fueled with a dark energy,
Mhm.
and he's orange, and Unicron's eyes are orange. Battletrap's eyes are orange, and well, I don't know if Nightbird's were, but I just thought that was weird that Dark Energon in this universe is orange. That's very interesting to me that they decided to go that way because everywhere else
And
it's
that's
been
when he
purple.
infected Air Razor. That's what you saw. It was
Yeah.
like an orange glow.
Also, the mask on Scourge's face was also that emblem was also on. There was a scene where Scourge was having a mind talk to Unicron, and you actually see that symbol above. I think it was around Unicron's eyes, or it was around.
the symbol. Yeah, it was,
Yeah, you saw the symbol there. And I thought
And-
that was interesting because basically it was saying that the mask on Scourge is just like, this is my mark on you to show you who you are.
I love that they knocked his mask off.
Well,
Because-
wait. When that mask got knocked off, was anybody expecting something a little bit more dramatic when they showed his face?
It was just kind of like, oh, okay, he looks like a, it looks.
Yeah,
normal.
I was
Dylan looked up
expecting
and goes,
more.
"What is he? He just looks like an alien. He's not a robot."
I was
Well, he's
expecting
so
more than
messed
Ultron.
up. He's absurdly messed up. Like that's probably
I
why
like
he
how-
wears the mask in the first place.
He looked like a zombie. I like how he talked, and you could see through his jaw while he was talking.
Yeah,
Now, when he was
you
in front
did
of
say
Unicron-
Ultron, Joe.
Yes.
It's very Legionnaire Ultron.
Yeah.
When he first starts talking to them in Avengers, like with that first body, that's kind of what that reminded me of a little bit more.
Did y'all see whenever Scourge was talking with with Unicron and everything? So I read or I heard I was watching a review and somebody said that kind of reminded them of when Unicron had the TVs, and stuff playing inside of him and stuff. Did y'all kind of? When I watched, I didn't really see that, but
I didn't
I
gather
didn't see
that
that.
because I thought it was like his eyes.
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
his
that's
eyes
what
and
it
everything.
It was
his
more
eyes.
so, yeah.
I don't know. Somebody
Ghost in
said
the
it just
Machine
kind of
episode.
reminded them of that. It reminded
I
them
did
of
like the
TVs.
G1 throwback where he was torturing Scourge and he raises
Yeah.
up in the
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
I like how they're like Nightbird and Battletrap. I don't think they can see that, and they just see him levitating there, just getting tortured.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious, and
I
that
wish
was my
they
other
had
thing.
more character development, just
You know
like the
what that-
Maximus. Was. Battletrap was awesome. He was just a bruiser.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm convinced that David Sobolov is doomed to play characters that are just so cool, but just die immediately.
I was hoping to see more of him and Rhinox fighting. I think that would have been
Yes,
a great.
that would have been great.
it would have been
Dylan
I
cracked me
kind
up.
of wish. I was gonna say, I'm kind of wish the villains didn't die.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see them again in another movie.
Bumblebee did the villains perfectly. They fleshed them out, gave them personality, you got to know them. And I was hoping that this movie would go that route. They did it with Scourge,
Yeah,
and Battletrap and Nightbird was so cool.
Nightbird
they
had
just-
a little bit.
Yeah,
There
we
was a
didn't
little
get-
bit with Nightbird.
I think they were
Yeah.
kind of the same way Dropkick was because we got a little bit of stuff with him, but not as much as Shatter. So I'm guessing what they did with that is just do Scourge like Shatter, and then make the other two like Dropkick. Just
Well, with
chime in from
Dropkick,
time to time.
he was a shoot first, ask questions later. Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
that was what he.
Did
I like
Nightbird-
the way they pop.
I don't know if y'all felt like this, but I think Nightbird kind of felt like maybe Black Arachnia a little bit. The way she talked and the way the way her demeanor was. It kind of maybe not Black Arachnia, maybe a little bit, but
she reminded me
Kind
of
of
a fun pub
Arachnid.
character. I can't remember what her name is. She reminded
Shadow
me more
Striker or Roulette.
Yes, I think it may have been, or not Shadow Striker. There's another one.
Crimson hit the nail on the head on this. I didn't even think of that.
Yep. That was Ghost in the Machine. Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. The eyes were like Ghost in the Machine.
The other thing that it reminded me of, that scene where he, like, you see it morph around him when he goes to talk to Unicron, is who's seen the newer Star Wars movies? I don't like the movies.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. When Steppenwolf talks to Darkseid, that whole world.
The scene it reminded me of was when Rey and Kylo Ren are talking to each other. That's what that reminded me of. Where they're just, like, they can see where they're at, but they don't know, or they can see where they're at in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I thought Unicron looked awesome. Even when he was in his head and everything, I thought he looked really good. And I'm excited what they're going to do with Unicron in the future. And like I said, the G.I. Joe crossover thing, I'm excited for that. I would see what I am really excited for Mask. Maybe Mask 2 might come
Yeah,
in.
I wanted Mask more than G.I.
2,
Joe because of what they did in IDW with Mask.
I think G.I. Joe's going to be awesome. I wonder who.
Well, with the way the classified series is selling and is so popular, and when they did the G.I. Joe movies, I liked the last one. I thought they did
Snake Eyes or Retaliation.
Retaliation, because Cobra looked correct. Cobra Commander was a badass, and rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. His Firefly versus The Rock was a great fight.
Oh yeah,
they had that
Firefly.
They had that John Wick gun fu going on before John Wick.
I like the G.I. Joe ones. Maybe not.
Yeah.
The last
Retaliation was okay.
I liked Rise of Cobra.
Rise of Cobra.
Now you're gonna think this is crazy, but people have stated, I'm not sure how true it is, but those movies are apparently canon to the Bayverse somehow. It doesn't mean a lot to me, but I'm wondering this:
last week,
are they gonna
last week?
Are they gonna make Snake Eyes canon to this?
I never even watched that. I heard it was so bad.
Yeah, I heard it was terrible.
I hope not. Everybody hated Snake Eyes.
I'm hoping they start fresh with G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
and just bring
it seems like they are.
Transformers. I think they're going to do that.
I hope so too.
Just like they're trying to get away from. I know they're not fully away from Bayverse, but they're trying to get away from Bayverse. I think G.I. Joe is going to get away from that, and they're just going to fraud. Now, are we going to get this? Will be cool. Like every other year, next year we're getting the animated one. Like the next one, we get probably maybe Bumblebee 2. Are we going to get the G.I. Joe movies in between? Or, I think that would be pretty cool to have a Transformer movie.
I hope so.
Transformer G.I. Joe, another Transformer movie, Transformer G.I. Joe. I mean, I know it's not going to be like that, but I think it'd be pretty cool if they did
I think G.I. Joe is replacing Sector 7 in this universe. That's what I think. I think.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Totally
I remember
Sector 7. I really thought that was Sector 7. When I was
I did too.
I looked at Lisa. I was like, oh my God, that's Sector 7. They're going with Sector, and then
as soon as he handed them the card, I expected them to turn over and see the logo, and I was like,
and then when I saw the G.I. Joe logo, it's like,
and then
yes.
I'll be honest. The first time I saw Bumblebee at the end of the movie, where John Cena's talking, what was the kid's name?
Charlie.
Memo. He's talking to him, and Memo told him his name. I was so waiting for John Cena, because he never mentioned his name the whole movie, to say, call me Duke. And I would have just flipped my shit.
No, they say Agent Burns when they're on the when they're in the meeting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he never mentioned first names, call me Duke or something.
Goku wants to know if they're going to do a Transformer and Power Ranger crossover. I really hope not. I
don't know if that would work.
Yeah, I don't want to see Power Rangers.
I would like to see a toy crossover, maybe. But
Yeah, like a toy
But that's about
crossover is
it.
one thing, but I don't think a storyline like
Yeah, I
they
don't
can
think it's
actually
a
do it
push.
and make it make
Because
sense.
they've done,
Right.
with GI Joe and Transformers, they had the comics they can go back to. There's so much material to use for the GI Joe and Transformers, so they
And
they
I
can
got
go further.
I got to thinking about the Devil's Due comic series. Is when
Yeah.
Cobra found the Ark, and they used the Autobot and Decepticon technology to create Cobra. And Cobra Commander actually had Megatron trapped in gun mode and carried him on his side. And I think
That's
that'd be-
how they can bring GI Joe in.
they can do that, or
That's how they should bring GI Joe in.
we bring in GI Joe,
That would be
and
slick.
that's how we bring in the Decepticons.
Yes,
Say the Decepticons
That would
crashed
be-
on Earth, and Cobra found them.
That would
Yep.
be freaking awesome.
and that's the reason why they're Earth jets
I
and
have
military
spoken.
tanks,
Night.
all that stuff.
I can't wait. I cannot
Mic
wait
drop.
to see Cobra Commander, Destro, all of them mixing in with the Decepticons, and I can't wait for the Optimus Prime and Duke, or Flint, whoever he's going to be matched up with, more than likely Duke. But I cannot wait to see them all together, because that's our childhood right there. Two franchises that we grew up with are going to be on the big screen now together.
That, if you think about it, was on TV back to back in the day.
Yeah. That's just awesome.
And it was such a cool way that they led into G.I. Joe, especially with the two brothers on the radio. Don't use our real names. Don't use our real names. And you go, G.I. Joe is all code names.
That's something I was curious about. Is Noah Diaz a G.I. Joe? I don't think he is. He's not, right?
Well, he's getting ready to
Not
be.
yet. He will. But who's
What
going
is
to be?
Well,
Who's he gonna
how
be?
many GI
What's
Joes
his
do we
name,
know the
Frank?
real names of, though?
That's
how
that's
many
the
GI
thing.
Joe do we know the real names of?
Just like Transformers, there are tech specs for G.I. Joe characters. Profiles.
It's classified.
Duke's last name is Hauser. I'm not sure what his real name.
It's
real
Conrad
first name
Hauser.
is. Conrad
Dude,
Hauser.
Right.
The guy interviewing, who is it? Who is that going to be? Is that
I
gonna
think
be
it was
Flint?
just a guy.
Or just a guy? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's a known actor. I've seen him in a lot of movies too.
Yeah.
He's in Murphy Brown, I think.
Let's
him
see. What was it? Oh, thing I hated. I had to talk about this. This isn't even related to the movie itself. I hate the fact that Lorenzo Di Bonaventura is still a producer. He is messing things up for everyone. The Bayverse fans, the G1 fans that want to see this movie be different, he's messing it up for everyone. And everyone I think is now finally in agreement that these movies need to be separate, and he cannot accept it for selfish reasons. And it's probably because of money. It's probably because of he's put so much work into the Bayverse and all this crap, and he just doesn't want to see his money go to waste.
That's the only reason why
Michael Bay
Bay's still
doesn't.
around, 'cause
Yeah, he's
I
fine
was-
with it being a reboot. He said it himself.
Yeah, he don't care.
He produced this, correct?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
produced
one of
it.
the
Yeah,
producers.
he's not a
Michael Bay,
director.
I
He's a
was-
producer.
I remember back at BotCon 2010 where they were doing the Hall of Fame stuff, and he got an introduction. He didn't know anything about Transformers. He didn't care. It was just money. I mean, that's all it was to him, was the money and big explosions. Which, like I've said several times, I still got to tip my hat to Michael Bay. He did put Transformers back on the map. He did introduce them to a worldwide,
I mean,
audience.
I owe him everything. And
Yeah.
as much as some people would hate me to say that, I owe the guy everything. My collection, my knowledge of Transformers, my knowledge of G1, I owe to him.
Oh yeah, that's your
See,
G1,
his movies are your
Yeah.
G1. That's what you
Yeah.
grew
and
up
that's
with.
fine. That's fine. I mean, that's like I said, I like watching the movies. I have nothing against them. They're kind of you just gotta tone it, dumb it down a little bit. I know a lot of people hate them, but you have to understand that, like I said, Transformers wasn't as big as it was now. And Michael Bay kind of introduced it, brought it back, and I'm glad. I give thanks to Michael Bay bringing it back to the movies. I don't think
definitely helped
I don't
me.
think it'd be as popular. I don't think Transformers right now would be as popular.
It isn't so much about
Yeah.
what about him, it's about the movie. Like the fact the movie came out, and Transformers fans at the time were just, oh my god, they're making a Transformers movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Oh
what it
my
was,
god,
yeah.
they're making a Transformers movie.
They
Oh
got
my
Peter
god, they're
Cullen.
making a
They got
Transformers
Peter
movie.
Cullen as
So
Optimus
the
Prime.
hype for the movie was there no matter what. So I think that what Bay brought was his own flavor. And I think that's
Oh, yeah.
what those of
Yeah,
us
it's different. I mean,
we wanted to see this, the old characters
right.
on the big screen. Okay, modern
Yeah.
cars, but old.
I just don't
characters.
think it was. I just don't think it was time to see that just yet. I think this is
But
coming
we're never
at the
going to see
right
it.
time.
I don't think we're ever going to see it, though. That's my point. Is I don't think we're ever going to see it. Like what we saw in the beginning of the Bumblebee movie is the only thing we're ever going to see really of Generation 1 on the big screen in live action. You know what I'm saying? Like that is it. That's it. Like that's all we're getting. You know, and that to me is why I'm like,
What about the animated movie?
we wanted to see that on
That's
the
going to
big
be.
screen.
That's going to be.
I'm talking about live action
close.
specifically
Okay.
because the 86 feature was a feature film for the animated series. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm talking about like in 2007 doing a full-on CGI live action Transformers movie, we were all expecting to see Generation 1. In fact, to my understanding, the development was supposed to be Generation 1 before Michael Bay got onto the project. So whereas I appreciate that he really wanted to make sure that the cars looked good, because that was one of the things that he was really good at, was making cars look great.
Cars, military, and the girls. That's what he wanted to make look good.
And people complain about the use of his, like the choices of his cars all the time. Like, oh, they're not disguises. Well, you also think about in G1 we had a Lancia Stratos racing around and things like that. And I'm okay with seeing a Ferrari Dino or a one-of-a-kind Corvette because, I mean, when else are you going to see a Martini Porsche on the street or the like I said, Lancia Stratos or what other Mirage is another great example of that. You'd never see a
like it's
Ferrari
not the cars. It's
F1.
I mean, you can pick the vehicles as long as they match the character, you know. And that to me is where I'm like, does the vehicle match the character? You want to use a modern vehicle, fine. Like the thing about this, they used an F-22 for Starscream. And that's fine. He was a Starscream. I just mentioned Starscream. Right?
I don't have a problem with the Starscream design because I've come to terms. I used to be a little weirded out by it, especially when I was a kid. I used to think he was a really like just tubby Transformer.
You could take that same jet and you have Energon Starscream.
Yeah,
and that Energon Starscream looks like Generation 1 Starscream.
That's what early IDW Starscream looked like. If you remember.
That's what I get into with these Baver or my complaint with the Decepticons is they just seem to be throwaway characters, even the main characters, and their design. The Autobots all looked what do you say? They look humanoid, but with the Decepticons, they made them all monsters and insect looking. They are supposed to look humanoid too, but they're just evil. They're just bad guys. Like if I was a villain, I'm still going to look like me. I may get slick back hair or something, but you know.
Yeah, the most basic evil Decepticon from G1. Like when I think of like basic Decepticon, I think of like from G1 anyway. Like I think of red visor, square head, angry grimace, and then for Bayverse, I think of black, red eyes, maybe a mouth with fangs,
and pointy,
super pointy. Like you look at the one the Wreckers ripped apart in Dark of the Moon. That's your textbook one right there. That's the protoform army they came up with. But also, all the ones past the first movie are all ones that were created by Starscream to help on Earth.
Oh,
so that might not be the case going back because I mean, again, I keep coming back to this over and over.
What is that you keep talking about?
This is the expanded universe for the Bayverse. It's got all this in here that shows.
Send me that link. I need to educate
everything
myself.
that's going on before, between all the first three movies, and it makes things so much better. For my favorite story from the Revenge one is RC is taking her small group to assist on Cybertron to try to take it back. Well, they fail, and RC ends up getting killed. Well, then she wakes up one day. She's like, wasn't I just dead? She wakes up in her Revenge of the Fallen body because they experimented on her. And so now her consciousness is, and now she sees three different angles. And oh my gosh, my consciousness is in three bodies now. And then now
so they explain a lot of the
they explain how they split her into three bodies.
Yeah.
And then there's
You
this
know, I
character
don't
named
mind-
Flatline that looks very different from what you see in the movies. And he's the one that helped Starscream, and I think Shockwave is in that one too before he gets frozen.
Well, I don't mind the
correctly.
designs of the Terracons being more monstery in this instant, just because of the
Unicron's
assuming they're
interference.
infused with Dark Energon. Because in Bumblebee, the Decepticons they look more humanoid.
Yeah,
Like they could even pass off as the good guys when they were interacting with the humans. But I kind of get like seeing how AirRaiser was transformed from that thing that Scourge shot on her. I'm okay with that part for them, so to speak. Right?
It's just it's a callback to Frenzy from the first movie, like being this like, weird spider critter thing.
Yeah.
Freezer.
I ordered a second Frenzy.
freezer.
The
Yeah,
movie.
I gotta get so many. I'm gonna get so many freezers because of the movie. I just want them crawling all over the Scourge.
I heard another one.
For there is a booklet that was made for the movie, and they don't call them freezers; they call them the sweeps.
Is that right?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. Here,
That
hold
makes some sense.
Hold on.
Now, Jason, you are familiar with what RC looks like in Revenge of the Fallen, right?
Yeah, she's like a unicycle thing.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find this real quick in here.
Because you guys know about this box, right? That I got from Hasbro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were jealous and didn't watch.
I was talking about how I didn't get one in my most recent video. I was like, everyone's getting one of these. I was like, I didn't get one, but we're going to talk about the stuff that was in it anyway.
This was in the book. This was in the this was in the what's it called? In the box. So
is it easy to read?
Yeah, I think it's.
I don't know about easy, but it's ready.
Yep. But
this is what I meant.
Story time with Rodimus.
Here we are. So they even call them the sweeps. The sweeps work for Scourge.
I did like how it opened up and they came out of his back. It was
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then they had the bigger ones too. Now this, Jason, this is what I was talking about here. There's RC's brigade right there, and there she is before she's been experimented on. I think that's her right there. Yeah.
You know what really sucks now is, and I'm thinking about what Scourge is now they can't. Now, I mean, they could bring in Galvatron and Cyclonus, but now they can't bring in Scourge because Scourge was already, used. So that kind of sucks. If we could get the three,
unless Scourge is the name of, because he says, "Hey, I destroyed something regarding they destroyed his planet before they formatted him or something." So he just formats another Scourge.
Yeah, it's Hollywood. They can bring back anybody alive again.
I understand. But I'm just saying, it would be cool. It would be cool if we got Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge all together. That would.
Yeah, we got to do Megatron proper before we get a Galvatron.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
the Scorpions were supposed to be called the Predacons, and they were supposed to be a line of dialogue that was cut from the movie. They were supposed to be called the Predacons. And then there's the transit scene. So he was supposed to be a Decepticon that Optimus kills in the beginning of the movie.
I guess we gotta wait for the extended cut.
Transit was supposed to be one of the MTA buses for New York City. Like when Optimus, you see him roll as a truck and then he transforms into robot mode. He was then supposed to fight and kill Transit and then dump him in the Hudson.
Wow.
And you were supposed to see a few dead Decepticons that Optimus has killed since then. And they decided to cut that scene from the film. So, yeah.
Was it filmed or just storyboarded?
It was animated. They said that they would even make that scene was in the 2022 cut of the film. So
so we can probably see it when they do the
Stephen Cable Jr. said it will be in the deleted scenes.
That's cool.
Oh, nice.
So
I'm glad they cut out the line of Optimus saying, "I'm leader of the Autobots, what's left of them."
Yeah.
So we have a chance to get
other characters
this guy in the next one.
Yeah.
Specifically. I would love to see him and Ratchet come together and just have Ratchet be the old crotchety guy and then have them argue with each other the whole movie, just even though they're the same body style. I think that'd be hilarious.
I think they should. I think go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say, you think we're gonna get an Ape Link repaint?
Oh, speaking of which, that was one thing I wanted to talk about, but I didn't get the chance to. Having such a deep cut character reference like that in the movie was huge for fans, I think, especially people who attended BotCon and read the 3H comics back in the day. I think that was a wonderful addition to the movie. And him being similar to Primal was even accurate.
That was a violent introduction to Scourge.
Yes.
Especially when they cut him in half. You just see like the robot gore.
Yep. Yeah, burning, like he's on fire in there. And
I wonder if we'll get like on the next one we'll get Ironhide, Ratchet, Brawn, some of the other ones that were fighting in the Bumblebee.
Well, I'm wondering if Brawn's dead, because I don't think we saw him get up from when he got shot.
Yeah, they'll bring him back.
Did we see him get up?
Tis but a scratch.
Yeah, I think.
We said that about him in G1, and then.
Dude, hook, line, and sinker was awesome.
Yes. Oh yeah, they included them or references to them with the Collectors Club Astro Train with Minicons. I thought that was a neat addition.
And I just want more toys. I want the toys of
when I left
Primal.
the theater, I want that Voyager Primal so much.
I'm
ready for. And he is not to be found anywhere. I looked on eBay for overseas. He's like $100-something and $25 shipped. I'm like
the regular Voyager Primal.
The regular,
regular Voyager.
If you find Primal,
my store had like 3 of those, and I passed them up. Of course, they were gone the next day.
Yeah, I'm ready for movie.
If anybody can find that for me, I would be so happy. I want that Voyager Primal.
I gotta go to Walmart in the morning, so I haven't been for a while. Check.
I'm ready for the buzzworthy Optimus to come out. That thing crushes SS-38.
I think they're gonna have a regular Studio Series version.
Without a mouth plate or something.
That's another thing. Anybody think that Prime's face in this one was really ugly?
Yeah,
I thought it was fine because I'm used to seeing Prime without a mouth plate.
Didn't they say they wanted to make him look like Peter Cullen?
Yes.
Yeah, they failed miserably.
Now hold on, I gotta find this picture real quick that my buddy sent me.
But I did not like. He just didn't look right in this one. I mean, he's leaving the battle mask on.
Keep that mask up. Keep that battle mask. Hey, it's COVID out there, man. Keep it up, man.
Stand straight. If not for you, think of others. Leave your mask on.
Oh gosh,
it was weird watching him talk and everything. I'm just like, it kind of looks like a vagina just talking. Just stop, put the battle mask up, and just call it a day.
Your move, pussy face.
Don't call me pussy face.
Predator 2.
It was odd.
I can't find this meme. I thought it was hysterical.
Was that the one that had Peter Cullen's face mutated to look like Prime?
It was like his face was like down.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen that one. Yep.
Did anybody think that Jack looked like Zero? Yeah, we've
to a T.
To a T.
Yeah.
And he acted. You know what's funny? I got a comment on one of my. I got a comment on my video. It said, "Where was it? Wheeljack, in my opinion, was treated with respect. Many of my amigos from Peru loved him, and I get it. This is now your Wheeljack, but sure, it was our Casa Wheeljack. What?
Then name him Pablo and keep it.
I got it. Yeah. They're just kind of excited that he's lived in Peru.
I gotta be honest. I don't think anybody really just because they share something like an accent or whatever. Like I don't know. For me as a Filipino, I'd be annoyed if they took Wheeljack and made him Filipino, or whatever. It's like I don't identify based upon that. I want to identify with someone with a good character.
Speaking of identify, I got to give this movie props because remember all the rumors we heard that this was going to be woke and full of identity politics. No politics
Yeah.
whatsoever in this movie, and I
Yep.
was so thankful.
They basically washed it over when he said, "I don't need one of you in my crew," and then
you're not a team player.
Yeah.
that they clarified it. They clarified
Because there for a second,
yeah.
what do you mean people like me? He said, you're not a team player. I was like,
Yep.
So
No, yeah, and that was good. There was one part that I felt was like I didn't like where they say laugh at those jokes white people like that. I didn't like that.
That was stupid.
Oh yeah, I didn't like
was
that either. I was
stupid.
like,
That's stupid.
That's not.
you know,
okay.
I heard that with that, but that didn't get to me as all because I got friends that
Because you've been adjusted already. They do it to you guys all the time. You're desensitized.
probably all right, baby.
But for me, like I'm like I wouldn't like that on myself. Why would we do it to you other guys? Right?
Well, I know there's jokes of mine. I'm not telling some of my friends. It's just
Yeah, but yeah, it didn't have all that, which was nice.
One line where the one guy was like, "Oh, it's because he was basically robbing. He robs cars and steals cable." And he's like, "Oh, this is what I do for like, modern day cat." I think he said, "Did he say something along with to
fight capitalism.
Capitalism." And I was like, "You had to use that line, didn't you?" But
yeah, and this movie's designed to sell toys, and we just made an anti-capitalism joke.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
I was craving Twizzlers
okay.
when I left the movie.
But
I thought that was the funniest product placement because you could go outside in like 10 seconds and buy one at the kiosk.
Hey, it looks like we're going to extend for another half hour.
There he is.
Hey, I gotta head out though.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to stay on for long, guys. Yeah, I'm not going to stay on for long, guys, because honestly, I got to take home my grandson.
Did you just finish the movie?
Yeah. Just finished it, and I'm heading home now. Like I said, 4th time, but I couldn't go without having him. So, and then I'm going tomorrow with my daughter. So I got a whole lot of transfer.
I got one quick question. After 4 times, every single time, did you find something that you missed the last time?
I did. This time, what I had realized is when Optimus Prime had killed Scourge, one of the things I noticed, and I don't know if anyone caught this, it seems like Scourge touched him. I don't know if that's going to be something in the next couple of movies.
In the area? He did not supposed to touch him in the
It wasn't consensual.
You could not resist. You could not resist.
Well, you know,
hey, for anything, when all of this happened, you were inside me. No,
I thought that was a good joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought that
said,
joke
"Give
was
me your
hilarious.
head." That's not what he meant.
Yeah. Well, he said, "Now you'll know the power of the primes," and he literally decapitates him right there. He's just like,
yeah, exactly. It was crazy.
I like that line, "The power of the primes," because especially since the toy line wasn't that great.
I was.
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
That's who defined who was quality on YouTube. Okay, that line right there defined who was quality.
I kind of chuckled at that line. I chuckled at that line. Show you the power of the prime. Like what? Huh?
Yeah, I think he may be. I don't know if he had to actually, has dark energy in him now. I don't know if this kind of
we had discussed that earlier.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like a setup for something there. You know what I mean?
Well, AirRaiser did say that line: "Whoever Scourge touches, he corrupts."
Right.
Exactly.
Well, he didn't technically touch her. He launched that thing at her.
Yeah,
if you remember,
he launched that thing at her.
So maybe he doesn't necessarily have to touch you. He just hits you with whatever that was, because he touched the crap. Well, he had his arms all over Bumblebee and stabbed him.
He didn't touch AirRaiser,
but he didn't have the power.
Hey, if he touched Air Razor, he would have been canceled.
He didn't have the
that wasn't
power.
consensual
Hey,
at all.
That is true. That is true. That would have been
Yeah.
sexual harassment.
I just
That-
got
that-
that.
that's
I
shit.
literally just got that.
HR would have been called on, Scourge.
Yeah.
But he would sit in the office,
Scourge,
he would sit down.
like
and be
Unicron would say, "Hey, I'm evil, but I ain't that evil. Come on."
and
Scourge.
he'd be sitting in the office and be like, "Look, we're gonna have to let you go. We understand that you're a badass and everything, but you're not supposed to be touching the ladies."
Now,
and all that stuff. So,
I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about the music. I didn't get to talk about it. The featured song is wonderful. I thought the featured song. I've been listening to it all week, even before the movie came out. I love.
you talking about
On My Yes, On My Soul.
Yeah.
That goes so hard.
It does. It goes hard. I agree. I think it matches up well. I still think Battle Cry is the best one of all. But it matches up well. It really does. Like I said, in just watching this movie, I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I know you guys gotta get ready for bed, but it really does hit on quite a few things that if you're from the urban environments, one of the things that it really does hit is the fact that there's a lot of Transformer fans that are in these areas. I mean, you could drive around now and find Autobot and Decepticon signs on cars, and you were finding them on there back then. Yep. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows this, but there's actually there was a gang in Brooklyn that was called the Decepticons.
The Decepticons.
Yep, I remember
they stole stuff from kids all the time, and their leader was called Megatron.
That's right. And it was, I mean, when you think about it being so infused into some of the cultures that we don't really think about, that's why I was saying, I would like to go in more into depth with it. But, on top of the music, there was a lot of undertones around struggle, right? And believe me, I would love to have a fully animated movie about Transformers and the robots. But if you're going to integrate humans into a storyline, this is the way to do it. I mean, it really kind of interconnected Prime with the struggles of Noah. It really did a good balancing act of that. I'm not completely saying that there was a perfect movie, but in between, in terms of the integration of the humans with the robots, I think this movie probably did it better than anyone did.
We only had two humans that were mainly part of the cast, and then if anything, that both of them, their struggle as people worked on a mass level. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
it
Noah
was
is
real.
dealing with trying to get a job. And Elena is very smart, but having to deal with trying to show that she knows her stuff, but at the same time,
a supervisor that doesn't care, wants all the glory for herself.
Right, but once they actually get into the Autobots, you start seeing the similarities in the Autobots in both Air Razor and Optimus connecting to Noah and Elena, and that connection is really a connection for the entire audience. Doesn't matter,
right?
Like, it's great that they were able to capture New York and capture the 90s New York feel, but at the same time, it's really a human story, like connecting to the human. Like, I mean, connecting
exactly.
And the 90s New York, real quick. Did anybody else just get hit here with that skyline shot with the twin towers?
Oh man, of the World Trade Center, it really did.
Oh yeah, that was wonderful.
I mean,
Dylan even asked me what's wrong because it hit me. Because I
know for you, man, being in the military ahead. I mean, I was actually working at Fort Monmouth when that whole thing happened, and thank you both for your service. But I was working at Fort Monmouth when that happened, and then when I saw that, it actually kind of jerked me too. When you think of 90s New York, you look anywhere in that city, you see these big hulking buildings. Yeah. That was the skyline, the World Trade Center.
Yep.
It's true.
Yeah, my mom, I know she's going to be real happy to see it. She served in the Navy and was put right back on the ship after it happened. But
I know for you, Rodimus, you said that your father was working.
My dad was in the building, 8 a.m. on the 98th floor of Tower 1, North Tower. The office wasn't open yet because everybody was running late because he had to fix a copier. He worked for Xerox, which was right across the street at 11 Park Place. Now I used to go to the city with him all the time to, whenever he went to work. But that morning specifically, he went to work. He got there. So he went to the lobby. And if you're familiar with New York, a lot of these bigger skyscrapers, the Empire State Building, World Trade Center, they always have in the lobby those like coffee stands and bagels and stuff like that you can get.
Yeah.
He was in the lobby when the plane hit the building.
So he felt. I know he felt it, but he was. What did he think it was? Did he think it was like a bomb or something? Or?
You can hear. He said you can hear the sound. It sounded like a low flying plane. He said.
Like a low flying plane.
When he got out to the street, it was already chaos. But he goes back to his office at 11 Park Place. On the 18th floor of the 11 Park Place, there's a bay window, and you can see everything. And it's facing where, like, if you're looking at the Trade Center from that bay window, the second plane is coming at you when it hit the second tower, and all the parts basically flew out towards him. So
where was he at when they fell? Was he in the same building when they both fell?
No, he at that point he decided at that point to start heading north.
North, okay.
And he did have to get hazmated because of the dust and everything like that. Because even though how far he got north by the time that the buildings fell, but I didn't know this. So for me, I wake up and I hear about this whole thing going on. I can't get in touch with him because when the trade towers went down, where was the cell phone tower?
Yeah, on top of the building.
On top of the building. So it went down with my only communication to be able to get in touch with my dad. So
I'll be quite honest with you. It wasn't on that building. Every cell tower around it was destroyed.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. When that thing came down, it just overloaded every network around there. It was the
Xerox the one that fell from the rumble? Or was that another building next to it? Because there was a third that fell due to the impact.
You're thinking of the building
hitting
7,
the ground.
and there was another building across the street. 11 Park Place still stands today. In fact, when my dad went for the 9/11 fund, their office was on the 19th floor. So for him going back to New York City 10 years later, 15, 20 years later, was too much for him. But the building across the street actually, I think, was like that across from 11 Park Place, I believe, was torn down. I could be wrong, but yeah. So like, and I took him there. So it was like he was, and you've seen my dad. He's usually like this happy-go-lucky guy, but he's just sitting there, a little old guy on a scooter because he can, he's got damaged knees. So, but we're thankful that he's still around. I mean, I saw the movie with him this morning. Or 1 o'clock. It was around 1 o'clock. We saw the movie again. So,
hey guys, sorry, I gotta head out. It's dinner time for me here.
Yeah, we'll get ready to close this out anyway. Real quick, did anybody get the popcorn thing?
Oh God,
the Optimus Prime thing.
$50 was a lot. I couldn't bring myself to do it, and I hadn't gotten paid yet for the week. So.
Me and Dylan were like the 6 ones in to the very first showing in my theater, and they didn't have them.
Mine didn't either. Mine didn't get them.
I also
the Prime head ones.
I also really want the Fast and Furious Charger that they made. So I might just go ahead and buy them both for $100.
Well, I think we're gonna go watch them at a where they have the Optimus Prime truck one tomorrow. I think we may, and if they still have them, I may get one. But our theater didn't get the Optimus Prime head ones. They didn't. I was like,
I'm guessing the heads are at non-AMC.
Yeah, we don't have AMC theaters here in Hawaii.
We don't have AMC or
Is it Fathom? I think
I just got
Fathom
the
is
$7 bucket because it holds more popcorn.
Cinemark has the Optimus Prime heads.
Cinemark, that's it.
And AMC has the G1 Optimus Prime.
I got this.
You can order them.
I want that. I wanted that patch.
That's slick.
And honestly, believe it or not, I thought it was an air freshener when I first saw it.
Yeah, it does look
like for a car.
Yeah, it would have been
cool.
It'd
go great with mine. I've got Autobot badges welded onto my.
You're challenge. Like a Scourge.
You are like yeah.
Treebot
Scourge.
Well, I'm trying to get my Challenger themed like Night Beat, and we're getting close to it, to what I'm getting to, but I just got to get a couple more things for it.
All right. Well, guys, I guess we'll wrap it up for tonight. We've been on here for an hour and 40 minutes, and good discussion. I was so happy to finally talk about the movie because I know there's still some of us in the bros and cons that can't do that. Hadn't seen the movie yet, so it's nice to get it out and talk about it. And we pretty much feel
together nowadays because like everybody's been so busy. And
I know.
Yeah, I know.
So we got to do this more.
I don't like y'all. That's the reason why I don't get on here all the time.
Yeah, Fire Talks got here just in time for the derailment.
Yeah, that's what we do.
He don't care about spoilers. Where is he at?
Yeah, he's probably busy too. Remember, his dog ate his door or something.
Oh yeah.
Kato, I think Kato's going to Joe Fest. I think that's the reason they're leaving tomorrow. So I think he went to bed early, probably. So
yeah, I don't know if you guys have told you, but Bert and Nee will be at MetroCon in July. I mean, he's going with. I think he's taking Carmen, but it's just going for her. But I'm gonna see him there.
Great.
Like for me, I have 2 conventions I'm planning on. One, I have to figure out how I'm going to get the plane tickets because once I get the plane tickets, I'm good. But I want to, they want me to go to like BotCon actually wants me to go in New Jersey. I could stay at my sister's house. She lives. I
would have loved to go.
Yeah, she lives in North Jersey, so it's just an easy plane ride to Newark and then just stay at
Deluxe,
her place.
I saw you at the last one. We saw each other at the last one.
Yeah. I'll be at BotCon. I've got my everything. Got my flights. I got my hotel. I got my tickets.
Yeah.
I got the premium package.
Only problem with mine is just timing. Well, it's not timing. It's more of location. That's going to be a long, long road for me. And then TFCon takes place during basketball season. I'm just next year I'll be able to make it to all of them.
Yeah, TFCon's the only one I've got coming up because I got a vacation in July, then TFCon in October.
I'm ready for TFCon. I'm ready for BotCon too. I'm excited for.
I'm ready to see.
I'm ready for Metro. I can't make it to RetroCon because RetroCon, I would have been awesome if Cybertronic Spree and Stan Bush are playing together.
Oh,
internet.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Wait, wife is calling. I gotta get it out.
All right.
Later.
We'll call it. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out with us. I think we maintained around 43 people all night, so that's pretty good for us.
It's all good.
I get about 15, so
yeah. I plan on making a full review of the movie on my channel with my new video series. I got another one besides my reviews now. I've got Treebot Talks.
Nice.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for hopping in tonight. Like I said, it was fun. I'm glad to finally get to talk about the movie. Everybody in the chat, thank you for joining in and wasting your Friday night with us to hear our thoughts on Transformers Rise of the Beast. I almost called it Revenge of the Beast again.
Revenge of the Beast.
I have called it Revenge of the Beast so many times.
It's called Ascension of the Animals.
There we go. The beasts go up. All right. Well, everyone have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe to all of these guys. This is Patriot Prime signing out. Hooah!